Hi everyone, I'm Alexandra Amore and I'm here today with Stuart Jaffe. Hi Stuart.
Hi, Alexandra.
How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. You're so welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. So just by way of introduction, I'll let everyone know. Am I pronouncing your last name
It's
correctly?
Jaffe.
Jaffe. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
that's a
So Stuart Jaffe is the author of the Max Porter Paranormal Mysteries, the Malja Chronicles. Am I saying that right?
close enough. Well, I say Malia because it's
Malia. Okay.
yeah, I'll tell you that story later.
Okay, cool. Yeah. The Gillian Boone novels, the Bluesman series, Real Magic, After the Crash, and much more. You're a prolific guy, Stuart. His short stories have appeared in numerous magazines and anthologies. He was the co-host of the Eclectic Review podcast. And for those who keep count, the latest animal listing on his rural farm in North Carolina is as follows: 1 dog, 4 cats, 1 albino corn snake, 3 aquatic turtles, 7 chickens, and a horse. But Stuart says that thankfully the chickens and the horse do not live inside the house. And so your black tarantula must have died. Is that right?
Yeah, that was an old tarantula. It outlived most tarantulas, and we didn't actually know. I don't know if you know much about tarantulas, but most spiders, when they shed their skin,
Right.
and so they do it by they lay on their back and then they kind of crawl out of it.
Oh, okay.
So when they first start to shed, you think they're dead because they're on their back.
Yeah.
And so it took us about a couple days to realize, oh, that's it.
Oh, no. Yeah.
But yeah, we lost that. We've had bunnies. We've had some weird animals. So we're trying to reduce a little bit. But
Right.
I never win that argument.
No, I bet you don't. Yeah, yeah. So we're here today. I'm really interested in the Max Porter Paranormal Mysteries. That's the thing that really piqued my interest. And since this is a show about mystery novels, I thought that would be a great fit. And the thing that intrigues me about them so much is that they combine several genres. So paranormal, mystery, noir, someone mentioned in one of your reviews. So tell us a little bit about what that's like for you to combine those genres.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, good.
I've never been able to really write within the confines of one little subgenre. And everything I write, I originally, I core I'm a science fiction fantasy kind of guy.
Right.
I read everything.
Okay.
I'm reading a Western right now, and I've read romance and everything. But and I love mysteries. But I've never tried to actually just write a pure mystery. Every time I've sat down, I'm like, I'm just going to write a cop, a detective or something like that. The next thing I know, there's some magical element. So the world changed enough. I've been writing for almost 20 years, and the world has changed enough in the last 5 or 10, especially with ebooks, that those odd niches and mixtures of genre and blending of it is coming out more and more. Readers have always wanted it, but when distribution was really narrow and you could only go to a bookstore, bookstores broke everything up into categories that they could sell you to you easily. And if you didn't fit in that, it was really difficult to get picked up by a publisher, which was my problem for a long time. And then the whole indie book revolution happened in the ebooks, and I was like, oh, I could just do it and see what happens. And thankfully, there's an audience for it. And since we're talking about it, I'm really excited to say that the 5th book in the series, Southern Haunts, just came out a few days ago. So that's been...
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
That's awesome. We're recording this in December of 2015, so
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about podcasting. Yeah, so it came out on December 1st.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome. That's great. So tell us a little bit about your detective. He's a ghost.
Well, yes. So the book is about a guy named Max Porter, who's just a guy. And he's married, and he and his wife moved down to North Carolina, which is where I live right now.
Yeah.
And they move into Winston-Salem, which is a pretty large city. And quickly he finds that the office, he's been hired to do research for this strange family. And the office he's in turns out to be haunted by the ghost of a 1940s detective named Marshall Drummond. And Max can see this ghost. It's the only ghost he's ever able to see. And the ghost is is in the first book, which is called Southern Bound. The ghost has been cursed and bound to that office. And so initially, the case that Max is working on and an old case from the 1940s that caused Drummond to get stuck where he is kind of collide, and he ends up helping free Drummond. And then after that, Drummond decides to stick around, and they do, Drummond brings in business from the ghost world sometimes, and sometimes they deal with other issues and cases. I try and go through different genres of mystery, thriller, suspense, and stuff, depending on the book. So the second book is not really a murder mystery at all. It's more just kind of a chase over a mysterious painting that they're trying to find. There's one of the books gets more called Southern Gothic, goes to more of the Gothic tropes. The book that just came out, Southern Haunts, is an actual haunted house kind of story. And there's all these mysteries involved. And my favorite part about all of these is that there is history involved. I take real history of Winston-Salem and the surrounding areas, and it keeps growing, so really all of North Carolina. There's real history put in and then blended with witches and ghosts and curses and mysteries and all that. So I find all kinds of weird little mysterious things that I'm like, oh, I could take that. So, for example, in the fourth book, Southern Gothic, I ran upon a story about at the end of the Civil War, things in the South were chaotic.
Right.
Towns were being ransacked. There was not a lot of law and order, and this train goes through North Carolina. It stops at this one town, and it's loaded with wool and gold. And nobody knows where it came from. And when authorities finally show up, everything's gone. The wool, they can find all the people are like, yeah, we took the wool, we took this wool. No one admits to taking the gold. No gold can be found. And to this day, nobody knows whatever happened to it. Although there are people who will go up and down the tracks with metal detectors, and people have found coins over the decades and 100 years. So I mean, that's just, I see that, and that's, to me, it's gold of story, and I go with it.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
There's a lot more than you probably wanted.
No, that was fantastic, and you actually led into, I wanted to ask you about the research, because I noticed on your site, you mentioned, that you like to fold that in, and I wondered about that's a really interesting story. Any other really interesting stuff you've stumbled upon?
All of them are interesting. Of course. This is how it all started. I don't anymore, I live in Thomasville, but I lived in Winston-Salem for about 10 years. And somewhere along the line, I was living there, and I started realizing I really don't know much about where I'm living. And I just thought, I was just kind of interested, and I was stuck at the library waiting for my wife for something. And so I'm just kind of meandering around, and I stumbled upon a story that, this is a true story, that during World War II, R.J. Reynolds, which is now R.J.R. Nabisco, but at the time R.J. Reynolds, which is a tobacco family, and pretty much one of the biggest ones in North Carolina, if not the United States. And in Winston-Salem in particular, they pretty much own and run the town. If you've ever heard, I don't know if you know U.S. Cigarettes, but Winstons and Salem's are named after those cigarettes are named after the town, Winston-Salem. Anyway, so he's producing cigarettes for the soldiers, and the U.S. soldiers in particular had really never smoked cigarettes up until World War II. And then they became massively addicted from all the stress they were under. They were smoking them down like you couldn't believe. And he couldn't keep up with production. So R.J. Reynolds goes to the president of the United States and says, look, I'd be happy to run my factory 24/7 and give you all the cigarettes you need. I just need labor. I don't have people. I can't afford to do it. So, and this is the part that brings, which is why I even wrote the first book. Unbeknownst to me and to just about everybody I've ever talked about this, we shipped in German POWs. We brought them to the U.S. and set up little camps. No more they were like 18 to 20 prisoners in each camp, and there were about 20 of them or so all over North Carolina. And at night, we bust them into Winston-Salem. They work all night long, and then we bust them out before anybody woke up.
Oh my God.
And I've run into a couple of people who knew about this and said that we did it in Texas as well for other things that needed to be, other labor and that kind of thing. Never, I'm not a World War II nut, but I enjoy reading about it and all this, and so I thought I knew just about everything, in broad strokes. I never heard of this, and I looked into it, and it's completely true, and I was like, well, there's the beginning of a great story, and that led eventually to the Max Porter Paranormal Mysteries.
Oh, wow, that is such a great story. Fantastic. My goodness. And so tell us a little bit more, too, about Max Porter. He's a teacher, correct?
He's a researcher. He was a teacher.
He was a teacher, okay.
That didn't work out. So before the book starts, he and his wife were living in Michigan, and it was during the economic, the financial crisis we all went through way back when. And that, coupled with some poor choices he made, led to him losing his job, and they pretty much down on their luck. And they ended up applying for this mysterious job that brought them down to North Carolina, where the book begins. Now, I mentioned that R.J. Reynolds, their family, kind of runs with Winston-Salem. There's another family, real-life family, Hanes, from Hanes Underwear. They're also a huge, big family. And the two families basically truly are still huge families in this area and in the city. So I created a fictitious third big family, the Hull family, who trace all the way back to the beginnings of Winston-Salem, which were with the Moravians, way, way back in the 1700s. And I created this fictitious family about the Hulls who broke away from the Moravians because they got into black magic, and they ended up using this magic to get prosperous. And so they're a constant foil for Max and a constant way I can involve all the curses and magic and stuff, magical aspects into the story without actually offending any of the real families.
Right. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. That's awesome. And in one of your reviews, I noticed someone described Max's wife, Sandra, as semi-paranormal.
So
what does that mean?
So this is always the big contention, the big problem. I'm sorry, no problem. It's just one of those things like you love it or hate it about the first book. I knew this, this going in, but I decided to do it anyway, which is that she actually she can see ghosts. All of them. She was always born that way. She's had that ability. And like a lot of people who go through that, she kept it quiet and secret. It's not something you talk about because people think you're askew if you claim you can see ghosts. And so she never really told anybody, including her husband, until one day she walked in and there he is talking to a ghost. Oh. And she doesn't realize it all comes out, and they're like, "Wait, you can see?" And so the three of them end up coming by the end of the first book. They open shop together as a PI group, unofficial PI group, and that's where they lead to all their other adventures. So yeah, she can see them all, but the books are completely told from Max's point of view, so he never can see what she's seeing. In fact, the only way he's ever been able to see any other ghosts is if a ghost actually. It's very painful to go through, but they've stuck their hands into his head and allowed him to see what they're seeing, to kind of get touched into it. But it's debilitatingly painful. So it's only happened he's only allowed it. Well, the first time he didn't know it was going to happen. He's only ever allowed it to happen one more time, and it was desperate, obviously, that he allowed it to happen. But so yeah, that's her ability. And then as things have been progressing, she's dabbled a little bit into witchcraft, and we'll see how that goes. I have plans for her, but that's down the road.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And so do you find that most of your readers are mystery readers, or are they paranormal readers, or is it a mix?
It's definitely a mix. I know majority of my readers are women.
Okay.
Based on demographics I can see from like Facebook and all that. At least I should say the majority of my readers who contact me through Facebook are women, which doesn't surprise me because women make up something like 80 to 85% of all readers that buy books, and mystery is one of the top. I think it's right now number 2. It varies, but romance is always number 1 in selling, and then it shifts between fantasy and mystery. So I mean, there's always some overlap, and I do get a lot of emails from fans who are like, I've never read anything with fantasy in it. I'm just a mystery reader, but I tried it and I really loved it and that kind of thing. So that's always nice to hear.
Yeah.
And so I find most readers who like my stuff are like readers like me who read everything and anything. And if you like lots of different kinds of books, then because the only thing that's consistent about my writing or my books are that there's always some kind of fantasy-ish or science fiction-ish element. But I write paranormal mystery series. My other series, the Malia Chronicles, is it's actually a science fiction fantasy hybrid. It's a post-apocalyptic story where magic caused the apocalypse. And I have pure science fiction books, and I'm starting a new series that's kind of an action adventure of the old Mac Bolan, Remo Williams vein from the, I don't know if you know those books,
no,
like the
I don't.
70s, 80s. Or they kind of were lighter versions of like James Bond. They're just spy thriller kind of things.
Oh, okay.
But I'm putting a fantasy twist on it, of course, because I'm writing. So, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm hoping, I'm not writing it for this reason, but as I started writing it, I realized it kind of sits between Max Porter and the Malia Chronicles in terms of it's a little bit more fantasy magic-y than Max, which is pretty much just some paranormal elements and then the rest is realistic. So it's more magic-y than that, but it's still in this world, whereas the Malia Chronicles is a whole other parallel universe and crazy.
Oh, okay.
So, it might help some people make that transition and see what else is out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I noticed, too, you recently, or maybe it wasn't recently, recorded the audiobook for...
So, yeah, I do. The first 4 books of the Max Porter books are all done in audio and available now.
Yeah.
I do all the narration from my podcasting days, plus I have my undergraduate degree was in theater.
Oh, okay.
So I'm completely comfortable, and you can hear it's not hard to get me talking. Yeah. So, so I don't mind doing them, and it's a lot of fun, and the response has been really powerful and good. Now, the Malia Chronicles, which is a 6-book complete, that series is done, and it's a complete story. Malia, she is kind of a Xena-ish type character and real warrior. I'm not the voice for that, so I've hired somebody to do that, and hopefully, actually, I believe this week, at least hopefully in time for Christmas this year, which is 2015, it'll be done in that, so we'll see. But yeah, I do the Max Porter ones, and I'm going to be just soon recording the book that just came out, Southern Haunts, and I'll keep doing them. As long as, I say to people, as long as you keep reading them, you keep getting them, I'll keep doing it, because I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of fun. More work than other books because of the research I have to do. But,
yeah.
So, extra month, but it's fun.
Yeah, exactly. And so when you record the audiobooks, do you go to a studio, or do you do that at home?
No, I have all the equipment at home from... The Eclectic Review was a podcast that I did with my wife it literally... We just folded it a few months ago, and it ran from... I think podcasting was maybe around for about a year before we found out about it. So it ran for almost 8 years. We did about 400 episodes.
Yeah.
And we did it every week until my writing just got... I just don't have the time to record and edit, and we would do a lot of research because we were talking about science and fiction and writing and art, and hence the title Eclectic Review.
Yeah.
So I have mixing, boards and microphones and all of that.
Oh, okay. Do it right there. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. We're going to wind up a little bit, but I want to ask you a question before we go. And I ask this of every mystery author. Why do you think mysteries as a genre have sort of been so pervasive in our culture and have lasted for so long? Do you have an opinion about that?
Well, there's no one reason. I mean, there's several reasons, I think. But the two biggest are, one, all good mysteries end by being solved, and so it gives us some sense of control or comfort in life. That, because, for example, most science fiction does not. Most science fiction is about a change, and then we go off to some new world. You know, first we were humans, then we mutated into something else, and now this is what our life is going to be, which is a lot more unsettling than the world went crazy. Somebody got murdered, but hey, we caught the bad guy and everything. So there's a circle there of closure that I think people like.
Right.
But I also think this sadly, is very relatable. There are murders, there are crimes, and more often than not, actually tied into that is to what the first thing is that sadly a lot of those things do go unsolved or do not, justice is not done. So I think there's a lot of wish fulfillment in there that we want to get it. We want the puzzle solved, and we can vicariously live through the characters who do the solving and feel like the heroes ourselves. You know?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, I think the puzzle solving element is such a big part of the appeal of mystery novels.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being with me here today, Stuart. So let everybody know where they can find your books.
Everywhere. You can find them, of course, Amazon. Anywhere ebooks are sold. They're also all in print and can be ordered for any bookstore. And since we're talking about it, Southern Bound in particular is I have it set up. It's called perma-free, so you can go, the ebook you can download from just about anywhere for free to give it a try. And if you really like free books, you can actually, from that, there's a little link to sign up for my newsletter. And if you do that, you'll get the next book for free. So you get two. You can really try out the books for no cost and see if you like them. And if you do, then you can go get everything.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. And your website is stuartjaffe.com?
stuartjaffe.com. STUARTJAFFE.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here again. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.